Good morning, students. Welcome back to the next session of compiler constructions. Well, today in this session, we will be discussing the next concept on top-down parsing. As previously we have already discussed in the last class regarding the basics of top-down parsing. So in that top-down parsing, there are various topics which are going to be get covered, such as recursive descent parsing, LL1 parsing. Recursive descent parsing is how you can apply the parsing process to backtracking, and the other way is LL1. In order to perform LL1, we need to first see how this will perform by the help of first and follow sets. Okay, so in that one we will be covering the topics. So today, as I already discussed in the last session regarding the basics on the in this chapter, that how this parsing works. As you people already know that the very first phase of compiler is a scanner, and the output of the scanner is a group of tokens or a stream of tokens. Now this group of tokens will be taken as an input by a parser, and the parser will generate parse trees. Now what we are going to learn here is that we will be discussing different types of parser by which you will be taking the set of tokens and you will be getting a parse trees. Okay, along with the stream of tokens we will be taking context free grammar. Okay, as I already discussed in the previous session that it satisfies context free grammar. So in that one we have already seen this the differentiation of top down and bottom up parsing. Okay, so in this unit, well, in this unit, that is our second unit, we will be discussing on completely on top down parsing. So how this top down parsing works, that means it contains basically two types of parser. These are the two categories where one is backtracking parser, the another is predictive parser. So today we will be discussing backtracking parser, and along with that the prerequisites to perform predictive parsers. And the other one is bottom up parsing, which will be covered in the next unit. So like I already mentioned you about top down parsing, that how this top down means it starts with the root node and it goes to the leaf node one by one with the help of the grammar. So here is one parse tree which is performing in a way called top down parsing. You can see that it is performing from the left side and it is moving towards the right side, but it starts with the root node. So similarly it performs in that way, and finally you will get a string here, or you can get any arithmetic expression. So here you are getting an expression something like id plus id into id. Okay, in that way. Similarly, if you go other way, the bottom up parsing, which is of the next unit, how this bottom up parsing means it starts with the leaf nodes. Okay, and it goes towards top, towards upside, towards the root node. So one by one it goes here. So in that way you can see that is exactly it is performing in the reverse order. So you can get to know, and finally you will be getting as your root node. So in this way top down and bottom up parsing performs. So well, today we will be discussing recursive descent parser. See here, basically, as you know, parser is a way, is a process by which a token, a set of tokens with the help of context free grammar, you are getting parse trees. So now this recursive descent parser is one type of top down parser. Okay, this is one type of top down parsing method, and in this method we will be discussing the concept of backtracking, because it uses the concept of backtracking here. So as I mentioned you that here what is this is regarding, if you go with the recursive descent parsing, the very first point is that only I said you that it's a top down parsing technique. Okay, which help us to get the parse tree. Okay, and it reads from left side towards and it moves towards the right side. And what happens here is it uses terminal and non-terminal both, because you know a grammar contains two things, a terminal and a non-terminal. Okay, so and what happens here is that whenever you are going like whenever you are giving an input, I mean you are giving a tokens, so it will go step by step. So it starts with the root node, and it whenever it requires a backtracking, that means whenever, if suppose if you are not getting the exact string, then it backtrack that and it goes for the next option. So in that way you can perform this. Okay, that means you cannot avoid backtracking here. Why you cannot avoid backtracking? Because it moves towards all the option, because it starts from the left side. I mean, it starts with the first option. If the first option doesn't satisfy with that, then it goes to the next option. That is of the next option. How it goes? You with the help of backtracking process. So in the same way, if for example, if you don't require backtracking process, okay, in top-down parsing, so whatever we are discussing right now is completely on top-down parsing. So in top-down parsing, if you don't require backtracking process, then you can go with the next method, which is a predictive parsing. What is this method? Is your predictive parsing is a method which doesn't require backtracking, and still you can perform top-down parsing. So that's why now which is basically what we are seeing is that backtracking means it is something in a recursive in nature, because recursion is performed, something repetition is required for the procedure in order to get the actual desired string. Now as I said you that as we are discussing completely on top-down parsing, so if so whatever we are learning now right now is recursive descent with the help of backtracking procedure. And if you don't require backtracking, then you can go with predictive parsing. And in this predictive parsing, LL1 is LL, or simply you can use LL or LL1 parser, is one type of predictive parser which doesn't require backtracking. So after this concept, that is recursive descent parser, the next is what we are learning is about predictive parser only. So in this way, this top-down works here. Okay. Now, as I said, you recursive descent parsing, this is the basic parser. Now we should understand that how the backtracking it uses. For example, if you consider this a set of context-free grammar, okay, this is a set of productions, 1, 2, 3 are what the set of productions, and there is a string. We should obtain a string called read. What we need to get the string as read. So anyhow, you know that the parsing process starts with the first production with the start symbol S. So here it starts with this one. As you know, it starts from the left side. That means first it starts with what? With S. And what is the first option here? It goes with 3 options. That means what is that? R, X and D. Right? It will just first check whether it is satisfying this or not. If it doesn't satisfy, then it backtracks over there. Until unless it won't backtrack. Now you know this R is what, you know, it is a terminal. Now X is what? A non-terminal, because you can differentiate terminal with non-terminal by their case, okay, lowercase and uppercase in that sense. So you will find that X is what? A non-terminal. Okay. So here what is the X option you can get here is that X as OA. That means you can write here as R, X, D. Then you can go for X as 2 option OA. But what will happen finally? You can get these are all terminals. We should actually get a string called read, but it is getting a string called road. So what happened is that the desired string what we need is doesn't obtain by this set of production. So what we have to do is we need to backtrack the procedure. Here it going to be get backtrack, and what happens here is that as you know this doesn't satisfy, so when it backtracks it goes towards X. Then what is the option of X again further? You will be getting as EA. Second option is EA. So now after that finally what happens? Instead of OA, again finally it reads as READ, because it goes for the next option. So finally you will get as read. So in that way what happens is that this backtracking works here, and this is how the basic parser which performs in this way. So here is the example just which I shown you just now, is that only. Here is what your start production, that is start symbol X, and you know this is how terminal, that's why it is represented in a circle, but these are terminals, that's why R and D are what? Terminals, so it represented in normally. Now X is X is what? Non-terminal. So again first you are going with an option, first option, because it goes from the left side. So what is the left side? First one is OA. You can refer this. What is the first option is OA. So here it goes with OA. So here it goes OA, but you will not get the desired string because we need as read, not road. So here it doesn't satisfy, then here the backtracking performs. So when it performs the backtracking here, so what happens, this OA again it goes towards this X and it goes with the next option. What is the next option here is EA. So when it goes to the next option, you will ultimately get as a string called the desired output string is what you read. So in this way, the string can be accepted by performing the process of backtracking. So in this way, the recursive descent parser works. It's a very simple, just it uses backtracking whenever it requires, whenever the desired string doesn't get satisfied with the given parse tree. Okay, so in that way, you are going to perform recursive descent parser method. Now this is how something about recursive descent parser. Now if I don't want to use backtracking, then I should go with the other way of performing the top-down parsing, which is something a predictive parser. Okay, in that we will be discussing LL1 parser, right? So in order to perform predictive parser or LL1 parser, first we need to understand the concept on first and follow sets. If you know this concept, then you can understand, you can get the next concepts. So first I am explaining this first and follow. Okay, so now for the first and follow, first we need to understand the what is meant by left factoring process. For example, let us just take an example here. If you go with this production, if you go with the set of if you go with this production line, what happens here is that there is a problem in this one. What is the problem is that, for example, like if any string is there which starts with alpha, any string is there which starts with alpha. So what happened here is that you can observe here the first value is alpha beta and next is alpha gamma. So now there is a problem here. What is the problem is that which has to be get selected, either you should select alpha beta or alpha gamma. Okay, but one thing is that beta and gamma are again what terminals. Okay, that is we can get by that one. But if suppose if it is a non-terminal, then we should decide. How can you decide this whether it is alpha beta, whether that means what we have to consider, either this one or either this one. So what we are doing this, in order to solve this problem, we are using a process called left factorization process. So now this left factorization process will convert this into in this way. How it converts? You can observe here alpha beta is there and alpha gamma is there. Instead of beta and gamma, it converts with another non-terminal which is a dash. Okay, and in this a dash simply it makes as alpha a dash, and in a dash again it have two values beta and gamma. Now how this left factorization will solve this problem? For example, if the string is alpha beta, right? So either if it is alpha beta or alpha gamma, first this has to be get selected. Okay, because here not it specified, but it just specified that alpha a, I mean a dash. Now what is the next value? By the next value we can decide which has to be get selected. If it is alpha beta, let us assume, then in this one beta will be get selected. If it is not alpha beta, if it is alpha gamma, then this will be selected. So in this way the problem can be solved, and you will be having a production unambiguous, because this production have a problem of ambiguity. Okay, it can have two meanings, either you can select this or that, right? So if there is not a backtracking process, then if directly it selects alpha beta by just taking the first value into consideration, then you won't get the desired value. If you want alpha gamma but you have taken alpha beta. So in order to solve this problem, they are using the process of left factorization. So because of that, what happens is that you can apply the productions very easily and immediately, because there is no sort of confusion. I mean, there is no ambiguity, or simply you can say that it is unambiguous. So this is how something left factoring our left factorization process works. Okay. Now in this one, LL parsing method, because LL parsing method is, just now I said you, is one of the type of non-backtracking process which is your predictive parser. So in order to go learn with predictive parser, first we will be discussing not on LL parsing method. First we will be discussing on first and follow sets. In order to understand first and follow sets, that means it uses first and follow sets for having LL parsing process. So in order to get this, we need to learn first and follow sets along with the concept of nullability. Now we will be seeing that how this nullability will be used in this two functions, which is first and which is follow. Okay. First we will be going with the concept of nullability. Nullability means any production is there, and if the desired result you are getting as epsilon, okay, so what happens, that that line or that grammar is, you can consider as nullable. For example, if you go with this line, a will derive to an epsilon, that means so then that means you can say that a is nullable. Okay. Also, if you can use this process also in that way also, because remember here, a is not a terminal, a is a non-terminal. Okay. And if it is having epsilon, or if it is having any combination with epsilon multiple values, then also this a becomes nullable. The condition for nullability of the particular symbol is that if it derives one of the value as a epsilon value, okay, so that means you will be getting as what, nullable. I mean that symbol will become as nullable. Similarly, for example, if you see in this production, here A extends to BC. BC here, you know, these are non-terminals. Okay, what are this BC? BC are non-terminals. But here, what happens? B will derive either to A, either to AC, either to epsilon. So because not directly but indirectly, because of B you are getting this value, so you can say that A still is also unnullable. Or else in another case, if you go with, if you also compare with C, then in C you can get again the same value. So in this way, either you, if you consider B or else C, in both the case A is nullable. Not directly but indirectly, still it is A is nullable. In the same way, so by this example, what we can say that directly if it is associated with that, like here in this case, as it is directly associated, so that's why you can find that it is nullable. But now in this production, if you go with this production, by looking this line, by just looking this production, you will come to know that okay, this is not looking like a nullable. But what if suppose B1 or B2 or so on Bn are nullable? If any one of them is nullable or all of them are nullable, then completely A is also unnullable. In that sense, you can consider. Okay. So nullability can be directly impacted, or else it can be indirectly also get impacted. Now if you go with this grammar, set of productions are there. If you go with the first production, how you can say that E is not a nullable, and how can you can say the other symbols E dash, T dash are nullable? Let us assume first you go with E. Okay. Now if you go with E, what you can find is that T and E dash. Okay. T and E dash. As you know, T and E dash is there, but E dash is what, here epsilon is there. So you can say that E dash is nullable. Okay, here E dash is nullable. Similarly, T dash is also there. T dash is directly associated with epsilon, so T dash is nullable. But if you go with F, what is going to happen? You can find either E, either ID, either number. Okay, any one of them. So it is not giving epsilon here, so that's why it is not nullable. So in that sense, you can say that given production is nullable or it's not a nullable. So in that way you can predict that, like, nullability can just be focused for a non-terminal only. So here these are all set of non-terminals E, E dash, T, T dash, F. So you can say that it is not nullable, it is nullable, it is not nullable, and it is nullable. In the same way, F is not nullable. So in that sense, nullability can be considered. Now, as we have seen about nullability concept, now we need to see about first and follow. Okay. So first and follow, we'll be saying some of the cases. So in the first case, for example, how can you perform first and follow for any production? For example, if I take first is, I'm taking case 1. In case 1, for example, if my production is in the form of A extends to A alpha. Okay. Now remember, what is terminal? A is terminal. Sorry, capital A is, non-terminal, and this is a small a is terminal. Okay. Right. Now what we are going to see is that, for example, if I want to perform first of A, and we are performing for non-terminals only, so I'm performing first of A. So in order to first of A means, for example, if I'm performing A, in order to find out the first of A, the first non-terminal, okay, sorry, the first terminal, what is the first terminal here? The first terminal is A. Okay, the first terminal is A. So simply I can say that first of A as A. This is my first case. Now what we am going to take is the second case. In second case, for example, if I am taking epsilon. Now what is this? Simply you can, as you know, in this way, in this one you can represent in two ways. The first way is you can say directly that it is nullable. Just now we have seen, right? It is nullable. And if you are not specifying this as in a nullable concept, then in other way, or else you can write here as that first of A as epsilon. Okay. So you can either represent as nullable, or else you can represent in this way. So any one of them you can use. If you are using nullable concept, and if you are using the table, in the table if you are using nullable, then you can write here as nullable simply. No need of specifying here. Simply for first of A here, how it will be represented as, first of A will be represented as like this, because you are explicitly specifying that A is nullable. But as you are not specifying here as A as nullable, so you can directly mention here in this curly braces itself only. Okay. So any one of the method you can use in order to use when you are getting such kind of productions. Similarly, if you go with the case 3, if you go with the case 3, for example, there are set of production is there, A to B, B to C, and C to ID. Now you just tell me what can be the first of A. First of A will be, you will be thinking that it is B. No, why? Because B is what? B is non-terminal. You have to take first you have to take first terminal. So here B is there. Again, we have to go with this link for B, which is B. B will given to C, and finally from C you are giving ID, identifier. So identifier is a what now? Identifier is a terminal. So that's why you can represent in this way. Okay. So these are what the three cases to perform first operation. Okay. So what we have seen, the first case what we have seen is that in this way, that directly if you have a terminal, you will be getting in this way, as A is what terminal. Now in this one, as it is nullable, so you can represent like this or else like this. There are two ways to represent. And if for example, if you are not getting as what a terminal here in the first production, so you have to go with the connected productions. You know, B is there, B is connected to again to C, again C is connected to again ID. Now ID is what? A terminal. That's why you can write as first of A is equal to ID. So these are what the three cases which we need to implement here. So directly I'm going with the example here. So if you see with this example, in order to find now E to what is that first line of production, E to T E dash. Now in order to perform first of E, what will be the value? Here T is there. So T is what? Again T is non-terminal. So again what we have to perform? We need to perform first of T. What we have to perform as first of T. And now we need to go to first of T. So for if you are going for first of T, what is going to happen? F will be there. So in this case you can see here, first is we are finding first of E. So you know E is TE dash. Now this T is the part of E, right? You can go with this line as first of T is the part of first of E. So now T is not nullable. Okay, T is not nullable. Why? Because F is there, you are getting this value. So T is not nullable. You can observe here. So T, you are not getting epsilon here. So T is not nullable. And first of E now is first of T. Just now I have written here, right? Now we need to determine first of T. So we have to, what we have to determine as first of T. Now in order to determine first of T, what we have to go in this line, we have to focus. What is this line? Ft dash. Okay. So Ft dash is there. So Ft dash. So Ft dash means now F is also what? Non-terminal. So I should write here as first of F. So if I go with first of F, now for finding first of F, here, if you observe this case, see here, this opening bracket is also what? A terminal. So there are three terminals. Okay, this one terminal, or ID is one terminal, or number is also one terminal. So what you can write here as in this one, opening bracket, ID and number. Why I am taking for this? Because these are what? Terminals. Okay. So simply I can write here as first of E means I can get what this values? I am getting these three values. Okay. So in this way I am getting first of, what is this? Yes, first of E means you are getting as this value. Okay. Similarly, I also find out first of T also, right? First of T means first of F. So now this is first of F. Also this is first of T. Also this is first of E. For first of E, first of T and first of F, everyone contains these three values only. Okay. In that way we have calculated. Now what is the next is E dash. If you go with E dash, what is this? First of E dash. E dash means I have to focus with this one. So first of E dash. So first of E dash If you observe this, there are two values. What is this? First one, plus. Okay. Now this E dash is nullable. So E dash is what? Nullable. So I'm just taking only this value, first of E dash, as, what is this? Plus. And I'm specifying that E dash is nullable. Okay. Or else what is the second way? Just now I said you, if you are not specifying E dash as nullable explicitly, then you can mention here as first of E dash as plus comma epsilon. But we are not considering this case right now in our example. We are considering that E dash as nullable because we are using the concept of nullable here. So that's why I'm just mentioning this plus, because instead of this symbol we are writing here as nullable. That's sufficient for us. Now similarly we have find out first of t also. Now we need to find out first of t dash. So in order to find out first of t dash, so we have completed this one as well as this one. Only remained is this one now. So first of t dash. So first of t dash is also nullable. Why? Because I am getting this value, right? So now t dash is nullable. So simply what I can write here as first of t dash as asterisk, and I can specify that t dash is nullable. That's it. So in that way you can represent this. So you know E is not nullable, so we got this value. Also we got this E, T and F. We got simultaneously for all these three. So three are not nullable. So we got the same value because ultimately we are getting this value, same these three values. And for E dash, as I said you that it is S, but because it is nullable, so only one symbol plus is used. And for this T dash, again it is nullable, so I'm using this asterisk. So in this way we have calculated what? First of any production, I mean first of any non-terminal. Now what is the next thing is follow. What do you mean by follow? See, follow here is, the next thing is what we are discussing regarding is follow. In follow, here again we will be seeing that how this follow will perform. Consider a production A as, what is this? Alpha B beta. Okay, this is alpha B beta. This is one kind of production which we have taken. Now in order to follow, for example, if I want to perform, there is another production called beta extends to, we are getting the value as A. This is what the set of production we have taken. Now if I want to perform follow of B, follow means, see here, first means we have seen the left side. For example, if I want to perform first of A means alpha is what? The value, because the first non-terminal. Now if I want to perform follow means, for example, if I am performing follow of B, so immediate to the B, the next symbol, what is that? Non-terminal. Okay, see, sorry, this is how, yeah, non-terminal. Beta is what? Non-terminal. So here immediate to that beta, what is that? After B, beta is there. So for beta we have to perform first of beta. What we have to perform? First of beta. What is first of beta? If you perform first of beta, what you will get? Value as A. So follow of B means value will be A. Okay, and this you can take in set wise because you may have multiple values, so in that way. So follow of B means, follow means it is following the value. Okay, what value? The value of the first of beta is what? A. Now follow of B means it follows the value of A here, because beta again giving to a value called A. That means B is following to the value called A in that sense. Understand here? Again I am repeating. See, follow means, for example, if you are taking any non-terminal, now in order to know which value, which terminal is following that value, but that non-terminal means you have to take immediately to that right hand side. So right hand side means if you are taking this, you are getting as beta. So in order to know, beta will be first, it is following to whom? It is following to A. So that value will be followed by B. That's why you can write as follow of B. Okay, simply you can say that follow of B or follow of any value, for example follow of B is you know what you can write here as the next value is what? Beta. So you can write as first of beta. So first of beta is, because after B immediately the next value is what? Beta. Okay, so here beta is there, so first of beta is A, so follow of B means A. So in that way follow of B will be performed. This is first case. Now if you go with the next case, second case, in this second case we will be taking some other value, like we will be taking here as A alpha B beta. There is some slight change here. Now beta here is, instead of having a value, it is getting epsilon. Okay, a null value. So now what happens here is that there is some change here. Simply it will not write here epsilon, or you cannot say that it is nullable. You can say it, but there is a need to specify one more thing. What is that? Here is that follow of B means, what is that again? First of beta. So first of beta, as you know, it is what? Epsilon. So simply whenever an epsilon comes here, so you have to mention as, you have to follow again, because you are not getting any value from beta, again you have to follow from A, because see, B, it is actually finding the value by which value it is following. So you know, after B beta is there, but from beta there is no value. So now B will go towards its parent parent node, I mean like parent value. So what is the parent of B? The parent of B is A. So that's why it will follow whatever the A will be followed. That means simply what you can write here as all the values, all follow of A will be considered here. Okay, again I am repeating. See here, when I am taking follow of B, as it has to follow the value of beta, I mean follow the value of beta. So what is the value of beta? The first value here in this example is A, but in the second case, as there is no value, so now which value will be? B will be followed. So B will follow to the parent value. So what is the parent value? So whatever the value which will be followed by A, the same value will be followed by B as well. That's why you can write here as, whenever this value will comes here, whenever this value comes here, simply you can write that follow of B means all the values which are followed by A will be followed by B. All follows of A. In simple case, that is. Okay. Now going to the third case. For example, like I'm just taking one value. What is that? Here is that I'm just taking one production. A as alpha b beta, right? Alpha b beta, and in beta I am taking two values. One is with a valid value and one is with epsilon, either this one or this one. So at the time, what will be the value of follow of b? The follow of b will be, first thing is that a, because it has to be followed by a, right? So here you can write as a, and here epsilon is also there. So it will consider two values, a comma all follows of a. You can something called as an hybrid version, because in the case one simply you have an exact value, but in the second case you don't have any value, and the third case is something where you have value, along with that you don't have any value. I mean this case or that case. So the third case is something like an hybrid case. That's why you can write as follow of b means a comma all follows of a. So this is how the third case, and using these three cases we will be seeing that how this will be performed. Now what is the next thing is that regarding, yes, now for the follow symbol, what is that here? We have already seen the three cases, right? So directly we'll going to the example here. If you go with the first production, if you go with the first production, what is the first production is? Here, in order to follow E, okay, in order to follow E, what we have to do here is that follow of E. So follow of E. So where E is there here, if you go with the right hand side, okay, as you know E is the start. And one more thing which I want to specify here, whenever if you are taking for a start symbol, okay, because here E is a start symbol, so there is one value which will always followed by E, which is called as, you can use dollar, okay. So here you are using dollar, so dollar will be used and that will be followed by E. So now you just see here where E is coming here at the right hand side, E is coming here, okay. So E is coming here in this one. So if you go with this production, you will be getting this one, f of E. So now what is the value which is followed here, E? So similarly this bracket, closing bracket, so that's why there are two values. What are the two values? First is, what is that? First is dollar and next is closing bracket, because after E what is followed? This is how closing bracket. Why? Because it is terminal, okay, it is terminal. Similarly E dash is there. So now if you go with E dash, in E dash you can find E dash here, okay. Also you can find E dash, yes, only you can find E dash here, also you can find E dash here in this two production, right? So now if you observe this, there are two productions where E dash will be taken in the right hand side, so this one and this one. So as you know, after E dash there is no other value which has to be followed. So what I said, if there is no value, or else if it is going epsilon, so simply it follows to the parent value. So what is the parent of E dash? The parent of E dash is E. So simply you can say that follow of E dash is equal to follow of E. That means whatever the value which is followed by E, what is the value which is followed by E? E will be followed by these two values, two terminals. So the same symbols will be also followed by E dash. So in this way, E and E dash can be followed by these two values. Okay. So this is regarding E dash. Now what is the next value is T. Now if you observe this, T is there in this first production, T is there in the second production, and just that's it, right? Only two productions where T is there. So now if you observe here in T, so just now I said you this in this way and in this one. So after T, what is this? E dash is there, right? So we have to perform first of E dash, right? Okay, first of E dash. And here also after T, E dash is there. So in both the cases, you have to perform first of E dash. So first of E dash, if I perform first of E dash, so first, as I said you, what is first? Previously we have seen. First means simply plus is there. Along with that, it is also nullable. So here, what we are writing here is that as E dash is nullable, and as E dash is nullable, so follow of E means this one, which we have seen just now, and we have also seen follow of E dash, because follow of E and follow of E dash are same. Now follow of T, what is follow of T? Follow of T will be this one plus, right? And why we are taking this one? Why we are taking this one? Because in follow of E, in follow of T, it contains first of E dash. So first of E dash, if you go with first of E dash, so here what is the value? Plus is there and epsilon is there, right? So that's why you, and also you can get this, yeah, T value is there. So in this way, in this one where it is, yeah, T, because follow of T, it contains first of E dash, also follow of E, or else follow of E dash. So we have to include this one, because nullable means, whenever a nullable means what happens, it has to follow the parent one. So what is the parent? What is the parent of T? What is the parent of T? The parent of T is E. The parent of T is E. So E here is follow of E means dollar is there and closing bracket. So therefore simply follow of T means you can take these three values. Okay. Why plus is coming? Plus is coming because first of E dash is there. Why these two symbols are coming, dollar and closing bracket? Why? Because as E dash is nullable. So whenever I said you, a nullable means if you are getting epsilon. So what happens in that case? You have to follow the parent. You have to follow the parent. So who is the parent of T? The parent of T is E, right? So you have to follow of E. So what is follow of E means? Dollar and closing bracket. That's why you are taking these three symbols. Okay. So this is regarding follow of T. Now next goes to the follow of T dash. If you go with T dash, if you refer this grammar, where T dash is there at the right hand side, T dash is there in this production, T dash is there in this production as well. And remember, in this one, in the last second one, you have an epsilon, that means it is nullable. Okay, remember this point, because we are using this point here. So T dash, so two productions are there, this one and this one. So now you know that T dash, after this it is not following anything. So whenever it is doesn't follows anything after T dash, is there any value here? No. So it has to follow the parent. So what t will be followed? Follow of t dash is follow of t. That is, what is that? Just now we have seen, right? Follow of t means these three symbols plus dollar and closing bracket. Same value plus dollar and closing bracket we have taken here. Similarly, if in the second case also after t dash, it doesn't have any value. It doesn't have any value. So again it has to follow of t dash only. Same value you cannot follow, right? But if you go with the first production, you can follow the value of t. So follow of t means you are getting the same three values. You can also write like this also. What is that? You can use plus dollar or else closing bracket. Anyway, you can use any combinations. Okay. So this is regarding t dash. What is the next value? Follow of f. Now for following follow of f, you need to observe where f is there at the right hand side. Right? F is there in this one. F is there in this one. And again, no, f is not there. Only in these two values. Okay, so we taken this two production here, which is f and f. So now in order to follow of f, we need to follow first of t dash. Immediately after f is what? T dash. So first of t dash. So first of t dash we have already seen previously. What is that? Asterisk. And it is nullable, right? T dash is nullable. Previously in first we have seen. So you have to consider all of these things. And t dash, just now I said it is nullable. So whenever it is nullable, it has to follow what? It has to follow the parent. What is the parent of t dash? The parent of t dash is t. So what is, you have to follow t also. So what is t value? Plus dollar and closing bracket. So that means in order to follow f, we have to take these three values as well as with this one value. That means asterisk will be there, dollar closing bracket plus. Okay, so in this way you are getting all these four values. So remember, asterisk, when you are getting asterisk, why you are getting asterisk? Because you are performing first of t dash. And why you are getting these three values, dollar closing bracket plus? Because you have to follow the parent of t dash. So what is the parent of t dash? The parent of t dash is t. So the parent of t dash is t. And t, what is the follow of t? Just now we have seen, right? Follow of t. So follow of t, we got this three value, right? So the same three values will be taken here. So in this way we perform follow of f. So we have formulated all of this and we have used first and follow. And what you have observed is e dash, t dash, f, all are non-terminals. And in that some are nullable and some are not nullable. So here E is nullable, E is not nullable, so that's why we specified as no. And we have seen how this first we have calculated, right? For this one and this one in first we have seen. And for this one and this one both are nullable. So we have seen that how this plus and asterisk will be calculated. Similarly, we have seen the follow of them. So this is follow, okay, this is follow, and this is how follow we need to perform. So in this way you have to include first follow sets with the help of nullable. So this will be used for the next concept. Okay, so in this way we have covered what today in this session is about regarding first and follow. Okay, in the next session we will be discussing the next concept regarding, that is predictive parser. Okay, so with this I'll complete this class. Thank you.